Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, Patronosaurus Reads. I'm Katie, aka Patronosaurus, and I read. And we have entered a difficult time of the year, haven't we? It's cold, it gets dark early, and everyone's just feeling a little down. I'm continuing to blame it on the time change, even though that was several weeks ago now, but like ever since then, as soon as I get home from work, I basically faceplant into my bed and I don't move. So, in order to motivate myself and maybe some of you, help get you out of that wintertime funk, cure that seasonal depression, I have some books to recommend to you to help lift your spirits a little bit. Some of them are explicitly wintry and some of them are not, but let's just get into it. So the first book I want to recommend is Almost Midnight by Rainbow Rowell. This is actually a collection of 2 short stories called, it'd be awesome if I knew what they were called, Midnights and Kindred Spirits. So these are 2 winter themed short stories that Rainbow Rowell wrote that are just really cute and make you feel nice. And I really love this edition that I happened to find at a Half Price Books. It's lovely and sparkly and makes me feel good about the new year. This is one of the first books I read at the beginning of this year, and it really helped boost my spirits, like heading into January and February and like the really miserable months. So if you read this now, then you might get that boost all the way through the season. The next book I have to recommend is Red, White, and Royal Blue. Have I talked about this book on my channel enough lately? Like, do you think? In basically literally every video? Crazy. If you don't know what this book is about, this is set in like an alternate timeline America where a Democratic woman won the presidential election, and her son, the first son, Alex, that's Alex, he kind of hates the youngest Prince of England, Henry. But then they are at Henry's brother's wedding. I think that's what it is. They're at some wedding, somebody's wedding. I think it's Henry's brother's wedding. And they have an altercation, and so then they have to pretend to actually be best friends in order to smooth out any international tensions. And then some more things develop that are not just friendship. And this book is perfect, and it will definitely get you out of any funk. I've already read this twice this year, and I will probably be reading it again before the year is over, because I just love it that dang much. The next book I have for you is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. This follows 2 main characters, Natasha, who has been trying her best to try to prevent her family from getting deported, but she hasn't been successful, and today is her last day in America before she gets sent back to Jamaica, I think. Yes, Jamaica. And then Daniel, who is supposed to be having a big interview that will change the course of his life forever for college, and he happens to run into Natasha on the street, and things blossom from there. This book is so sweet and cute, but also covers some really difficult topics like immigration, which is a big area of contention in America right now. And it's delightful. It also like pops into other random characters' heads and gives you their perspective for a page, 2 pages, whatever, as well as like random scientific facts that seem like they don't fit into the story, but they actually do, like the fact that the sun is also a star. This book just is a lot, and it's really good. Like, I absolutely love this book. I was blown away by it. Like, I thought I would give it 3 stars. I was like, oh, it'll be like a cute YA contemporary. Like, I'll like it, but it won't be anything crazy special. And it knocked me over with how good it is. So I think this is one that will really help boost your spirits and give you a little bit of hope and joy in the world. And then the last book I have to recommend is actually 2 books in a series. It's the Adventure Zone graphic novels by the McElroy brothers, Justin Travis and Griffin, as well as their dad, Clint McElroy, and it's illustrated by Carrie Peach. This is the novelization of my favorite podcast, which my best friend Rayan and I actually made an Adventure Zone book tag, so if you want to check that out, that'll be up there and down there and lots of places, so you can watch that if you want to. This follows 3 adventurers on their Dungeons and Dragons quest And then every once in a while, Griffin, who was the DM in their real life campaign, pops into the graphic novel and like gives his 2 cents, and it's really fun, really funny. And it's a really good interpretation of the podcast without being like an exact replica. Like it's got the spirit, but it also manages to be its own fresh and new thing. Even if you haven't listened to the podcast, you definitely can read these, and that'll be a really good introduction. So if you don't want to spend hours and hours of your life listening to a podcast you're not sure that you'll like, I think that reading these graphic novels is a good step, because then you can see if you like the characters and if you're interested in them. And this story is so mind-blowingly good. Legitimately, The Adventure Zone is the best fictional narrative I've ever had the pleasure of consuming with my human ears. It just gets me. Like, it literally changed my life. So whenever I'm sad, whenever I need that little bit of boost to get me out of that winter depression, The Adventure Zone is what I turn to. Not the only thing, obviously, as you can see by this video, but it's kind of one of my main sources of like happiness and joy and life-changing goodness. So I will be preaching about The Adventure Zone on my channel like until I die. So just know I'm going to be talking about this podcast and these books a lot because I love them. And I think everybody should read the books, listen to the podcast, and let this joy into your life as well. All right, that's it. These are the books. These are not the only ones by far, but I thought that these books were a good mix of having something serious to kind of ground the storyline while also being able to lift you up and help you feel better about the general dreariness of the world for like the next 6 months. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what books you use to kind of bring yourself out of a funk, help you out of that seasonal depression, because I know I always need more recommendations for that. So yeah, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. That's what YouTubers say. I'll see you guys next time.